I love looking at the stars.
I love it more.
Hey, then maybe we should go to the star party.
Yeah, I want to go.
Yeah. Hey, wait. There's 2 stars now.
Let me see. Hey, it's the 2 stars of education today.
Yeah.
No, I want to see
Give it back.
Education Today starts now.
Welcome to Education Today. I'm Allison Brown.
And I'm Steffi Wise.
And we're from Katanning Senior High School in the Armstrong School District. Mark your calendars, everyone. A major astronomical event is coming to Armstrong County. A public star party is scheduled for Saturday, December 20th, 2008 at the Crooked Creek Environmental Learning Center just off Route 66 outside of Ford City.
As we'll find out in tonight's episode, this is one of many fun and educational public events that regularly occur at the Environmental Learning Center. We're going to learn all about the Star Party, an upcoming maple syrup workshop, and all about the Environmental Learning Center's other programs. It is a true gem in Armstrong County.
To talk more about the Environmental Learning Center, we have with us Mr. Dennis Hawley. Welcome to Education Today.
Would you please introduce yourself and give us a brief background of your professional experience?
Like I said, I'm Dennis Hawley. I'm the program coordinator at the Environmental Learning Center at Crooked Creek. And I guess my professional experience, I've been around for quite a while, but my professional experience has been about the last 15 years. Prior to that, I worked in factories and worked in construction and things like that. And I was a displaced worker, like the elder workers that we have now that are looking for a job. And that was back in the early 90s. I decided to go to college, and I went to IUP for environmental health, and I minored in safety science and biology. And then I was fortunate enough to be able to return to IUP for graduate school, where I went for biology. And then just when I was finishing up my coursework over there, the Environmental Learning Center was opening up, and I just happened to be there at the right time, and that's where I've been since it opened in 2002.
That's great. Let's start off with some details about the Public Star Party event. Can you give us an overview of what the public will be able to see and do in this event?
Well, December 20th, that's the longest night of the year. That's the night of the winter solstice, which occurs early in the next morning. The party's going to, we call it a party. It's not really a party. It's a sort of a program. We're going to, it's going to begin about 7:30. We're starting a little later than what I would like, but that was because we'd like to be able to see the planet Saturn, and it's not up until that time of the evening. And we'll be looking at that, and we'll also be looking at mostly the constellations and the stars that make up the constellations and things. We have, we were lucky enough, about a year ago, someone donated us a 16-inch reflecting telescope, and we have a number of pairs of binoculars, and actually for looking at constellations and things like that, binoculars are actually much better than telescopes. They're easier to aim and to see things with. So we'll have hot drinks for people to help keep them warm, and I encourage people to wear a heavy coat or dress for the weather to be outside, and hopefully it'll be a clear night. If it's a cloudy night, I don't know what we're going to do, but I'm hoping for a clear night.
That sounds like it'll be a lot of fun. How did the idea for this public star party come about?
Well, I guess I go back again. I've always wanted to do a night program like that, but I don't really have much experience with astronomy and things like that. But when we donated the telescope there, and I thought, well, now would be a good time to do that. And just coincidentally, an amateur astronomer happened to call my office one day and was asking about how dark the sky was. He wanted to come up and do some, he's from the city where they have too much light pollution. He wanted to come out here and look at the stars. And we started talking, and I told him about the telescope that we have, and he wanted to come up and see it. And he came up, and we got to talking, and he offered to do a program for us. So, and then I wanted to do it earlier in the year when it was a little warmer out at night, but we're trying to do it at a time of the month when the moon won't be up, because the moon will interfere with when it's real bright. So that was the time of the month that we first date that we could come up with that would work for us. So that's why we're having it that night, which coincidentally is significant since it's the night of the winter solstice.
Now, this is just one of the many fun and educational events you guys have. What other ones might be coming up in 2009?
I don't have a lot scheduled right now, but we do have a winter hike scheduled. Crooked Creek Watershed Association is sponsoring a winter hike on January the 25th. That's a Sunday at 2 o'clock. And that is we picked that day because there are no football games that day. It's the week before the Super Bowl. So we're going to do that. And then I mentioned we're going to do a maple sugaring program in early April. We wanted to do it in March, but we couldn't get a date that cooperated. But we're going to do it early in April. Hopefully that'll still be a good time for maple sugaring. So we have our open house. Our annual open house will be coming up on May 2nd. And then I think that's about all I really have scheduled right now in the way of programs. But we usually send out press releases, and we have things posted on our website also whenever they become available.
Okay.
That's cool. Well, now that we know more about your upcoming programs, what could you tell us about the history and mission of the Environmental Learning Center?
Okay, well, our mission is to promote environmental education and resource conservation. And the history of the Environmental Learning Center actually began in the early 80s. The Corps of Engineers who operate Crooked Creek Lake Park, which a lot of people think it's a state park, but it's not. It's actually a federal flood control project, and the park is just coincidental with that. They had an environmental learning center there in the early 80s, which burnt down, unfortunately, and so they built the one that we're in now, in the mid 80s. The Corps of Engineers operated it up until 1999, when they had to close it down due to budget reasons. And actually, the building they were discussing possibly demolishing the center since they couldn't afford the upkeep on the buildings anymore. So they began looking for maybe a creative way to save it, and they thought if they could lease it out to another educational facility, that they could save it that way. Fortunately, Dr. Kerr got wind of the pending doom of the Environmental Learning Center, and he thought it was a valuable resource that we couldn't afford to lose here in Armstrong County. We don't have any other state parks or any other facility like that in the county. So he was able to persuade the Armstrong Educational Trust to work out an agreement with the Corps of Engineers, and we have a long-term lease then to operate it. So the Armstrong Educational Trust is manages the facility, but it's still part of the park, and we do the programming and things now, and the Corps is just sort of like our landlord. So.
That's good.
It's nice that they saved it.
Yeah.
That's a
So
good
we've been
idea.
there. We took it over in 2002, so we're into our 7th year now, or we'll be into our 7th year soon.
Wow.
And so
It's a long time.
yeah.
Dennis, can you describe what the Environmental Learning Center has to offer the public?
The building itself, it's a multi-use facility. We do environmental programming for groups or businesses. The Corps restricts us that we're supposed to work with groups or businesses, but the buildings are open to the public. People can come in anytime and look around. We have a big lodge full of, we have a nice collection of mountain animals. We have raptors and snakes and
Wow.
mammals. We have bald eagles and hawks and owls, and a real nice collection, and it's in a real nice display. We have a display of some of the fish that are found in Pennsylvania. We have that, and we have some hands-on things too for the kids, some animal pelts and bones and sticks and things like that, just things for the little kids.
Yeah.
And we also have a resource library, which a couple of these books came out of our resource library. And people are welcome to come out and take a look in there anytime that we're available. We do programs. We do a lot of work with Armstrong School District. We do field trips with the Armstrong School District a lot. We also do field trips for Apollo Ridge, Leechburg, Freeport, and some other schools from out of the county also come in, and homeschooler groups actually come in too.
That's good.
So.
It really sounds like something that people would want to see. Mm-hmm. Could you tell us what groups regularly use the ELC?
Okay, I guess I sort of answered that one already, but like I said, Armstrong School District is our.
Oh, I wasn't sure if you maybe had some more.
Well, that's
Yeah.
Armstrong uses us more than anyone, and then Freeport, Leechburg, Apollo Ridge, those are some of the regular schools that come there. We have like schools from Westmoreland County also that come up. We rent it out for as a multi-use facility. We rent it out to groups like Venture Outdoors from Pittsburgh. They advocate outdoor activities. They come up and do their wilderness first aid training and
That's nice.
outdoor leadership classes. We also rent it out to clubs. We have quilting clubs, scrapbooking clubs.
I love scrapbooking.
We also a lot of church groups, scout troops, things like that. We have overnight facilities, and a lot of groups come for weekends, but we're also available for meetings or workshops or whatever, or environmental programming.
Okay, thanks very much. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back with the Armstrong School District's Education Today. We'll be talking more with Dennis Hawley about the Environmental Learning Center in Armstrong County. Stick around.
Before I came to IUP, I had no idea what college would be like or what role I would play or where I'd be in the future. But when I came to IUP, everything changed. I met people who really made me feel like I belonged. I had great classes at a great nationally ranked university. Hi, my name's Megan Miller. I'm a fine arts major, and this is my university.
We're back with Armstrong School District's Education Today. We're talking with Dennis Hawley about the Environmental Learning Center in Armstrong County.
So Dennis, who are some of the staff of the ELC?
Well, I'm the only full-time staff that works there. I pretty much do everything, but we get a lot of support from the Armstrong Educational Trust with clerical support and whatnot, because they're our parent organization. And we have a part-time AmeriCorps member who helps us out. And other than that, we rely a lot on volunteers. I have a couple of volunteers that help a lot with field trips. When we have field trips, I have to round up people to help present lessons. Donna Livengood, who's director of the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Armstrong County, she comes out and helps a lot with lessons. And also Sally Conklin, our county recycling coordinator, she usually comes out and does recycling lessons and things like that for us. So like I said, we use a lot of volunteers, and we also use volunteers to help take care of the grounds and the buildings and things like that too. So it's a community effort, we have a very limited budget, so until things are a little better financially, I'm going to be the only staff, I guess. But eventually, I'd like to see more staff.
So are most of the people you mentioned then probably members of the ELC steering committee, or is there more?
Well, actually, our steering committee members, our steering committee is comprised. Our members are based on the organization that they belong to. If you don't mind, I'd like to read them off because I can remember them all.
That's fine.
We have representatives from Apollo Ridge School District, the Armstrong Conservation District, Beechwood Farms, the Audubon Society, Leechburg, Freeport School Districts, Armstrong Educational Trust, DEP, DCNR, Aaron Intermediate Unit and Lenape VOTEC. And we have a number of watershed groups on our committee too. Crooked Creek Watershed Association, Conshannock Watershed Association, Mahoning Watershed Association, Kiski, Roaring Run Watershed, Penn State New Ken, Clarion University, the Game Commission and the Fish Commission. think that's about all of them. That those are our formal members of our steering committee. Some are more active than others, but
Sounds like a lot of people are involved.
we have a
though.
lot of input from a lot of different we have education and conservation groups, so we get a rounded. They steer us in different ways.
That's great.
Mm-hmm,
What would you say is your busiest time of year and why?
Well, definitely our busiest time is in the spring when we do our field trips, and also in the spring with the overnight facilities. A lot of times we still have people coming in on weekends too, so I'm busy basically 7 days a week during the spring. And in the summer we have day camps about every day in the summertime. Family Counseling Center uses us for day camps, and we do our own day camps also. So for about the beginning of April until the end of August, that's our really busiest time. And in the fall, we get a few more field trips, but in the wintertime, it's mostly weekend retreats and things like that, or people come in and use us for meetings and things too. The Penn State Master Gardeners use us for a meeting place sometimes. And all year long, we're pretty busy, but definitely spring is the busiest time. Actually, December, right now, this time of year is our slowest period of the year. But, they still have a lot of people coming in on weekends. Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned before about the hands-on things you have for kids. Is there any more equipment that you have on hand for educational programs that you'd like to mention?
Yeah, actually we do. We have a lot of equipment out there. We were fortunate early on when we first opened up the Environmental Learning Center. Snyder and Associate Companies made us a large donation early on. We were able to use that to buy a lot of equipment. We have a lot of lab equipment, actually. My background was in microbiology, and that's sort of what I came into thinking, that kind of from that angle. And so I have bought a lot of lab equipment. We have compound microscopes, dissecting microscopes. We have the binoculars, and we have water testing kits, soil testing kits, a lot of things like that. And we also have a lot of lesson curriculum guides that teachers can use. They can get in touch with us. We have lots of lesson plans on hand. We have quite a bit of equipment out there, actually, that people can use.
Sounds really nice.
Mm-hmm. The Pennsylvania Department of Education has academic standards for environment and ecology. What are some of these ecology standards that you cover at your school field trips?
Watersheds and wetlands is one we cover. Ecosystems, threatened and endangered species, humans in the environment, renewable and non-renewable resources. We also touch on agriculture and society and integrated pest management. We pretty much hit on all the standards and we can customize our lessons, to whatever standards the group would like to see. So.
Biodegradable garbage and stuff.
You're right. Yeah. We're big on the, no pollution type things. That's our mission, is to help improve the environment and educate people so that they'll help.
As you said before, the ELC is nonprofit, and we know it can be a challenge. How is it that you guys make ends meet? Do you have donations or?
Yeah, that's basically, we get a lot of money through user fees when groups that come in for meetings or workshops, retreat weekends. And we also get grants sometimes, and a lot of it comes from donations and contributions. User fees are probably our largest source, and then we get grants, and then donations. Actually, we definitely could use a lot more in the way of donations. But we're not we're a private nonprofit, so we're not on we're not supported by government money, but we do. The county gives us an allocation every year that helps us out, and we've gone to some of the different legislators who've been able to help us out. Representative Murtha was really instrumental early on. We had a grant through the Department of Housing and Urban Development, which we used to fix up the building. When we took it over, it was in pretty bad shape. We put a new roof on it. We put new windows in, new furnaces and air conditioners and carpeting.
Pretty much remodeled the whole thing.
Right, and we used Lenapevo Tech students to do a lot of the work. They replaced our rear deck for us, and they installed our furnaces and air conditioners for us. So that was a big saver there. We could spend money otherwise that we would have had to pay for labor that we use students to work on. And so
That's really
we
nice.
have to be creative sometimes to make our ends meet. You know?
I'm sure they enjoy it.
Right, and
Yes.
they're learning, and it's more of a hands-on, and it's actually from what I hear, it's better than working in the schools because you're actually working in a place where it's more of a home-type atmosphere. And
It's a better experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the kids seem to enjoy it. And then later on, I've had students come back later on and say, "Hi," they can come back years later and say, "I helped do this,"
Yeah.
What would you like to see in the Environmental Learning Center's future?
Well, the big thing I'd like to see is us to prosper and be able to acquire more staff so we could stay open, have more hours, open to the public. I'd like to see us do more public programming and those kind of things. But the finances are a big thing. We need donations and things like that to keep it going. Eventually, I'd like to see us have maybe even a little nature shop or something in one of our buildings out there.
That'd be nice.
Sell books and field guides and binoculars and things like that. Something to help. We need help with a better website so we have better public visibility, and also marketing. We definitely would like to do a better job at marketing. We don't have much in our budget for that. We basically get our word out through programs like this and press releases and things like that. But definitely we need more staff. But the future's bright. The environmental, a lot more people are environmentally conscious now, and they're trying to preserve things or save our resources. And this is, one way we think we can help by education.
Go green.
There you go.
Go green. Are there any other initiatives you'd like to talk about, such as the Envirothon poster for Earth Day, or any others?
Well, we didn't do a poster contest this year. We did that a couple years ago. We had a poster contest. We were fortunate enough a few years ago. Armstrong School District was able to position a substitute teacher out there to help out during the spring semester, and Leslie McCullough, and she did a great job. She's the one that got the poster contest together. The Envirothon is something we started a few years ago. I guess they started it a long time ago. The Armstrong Conservation District sponsors that, but they did it a long time ago, and then they sort of got away from it. But we started again, I think 3 years ago with that, working with the Conservation District. And the Envirothon is like an academic games based on environmental issues. Schools can send teams. In fact, a school can send multiple teams if they would like. And that's the county level. And then the winner from the county level goes on to the state level, and then ultimately on to the national level, where the winners can get some nice scholarship money and things like that. So it's another way of getting in, helping the environment and helping the students too. We also do a summer camp every year. Well, we've had it 2 or 3 years now. We've done a summer camp. We have been working with IUP on that, and this year I think we're going to try to go out on our own and do that. But we definitely need sponsors for that, and so we can kind of reduce the cost. Last summer we had to cancel the summer camp. We didn't have a very good turnout. We think a lot of it had to do with just the way the economy's going, and the price of the summer camp was maybe a little bit too steep. So we were hoping this year to get sponsors so we can offer the summer camp at a reduced rate, so we can get more kids involved out there. So
That'd be nice to see.
Well, that's our show for today. I'd like to thank our guest, Dennis Hawley of the Crooked Creek Environmental Learning Center, for taking his time out of his busy schedule to promote this important message. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
It was very nice.
Today's episode was filmed by the talented TV production students of Katanning High School. led by their teacher, Dawn Swanson. They were our film crew today.
You're now seeing contact information for the Environmental Learning Center. We'd encourage anyone who's interested in learning more to contact them for more information.
Please join us again next week for another look at the Armstrong School District. Visit our website for updated information about the district and have a great week.